Welcome to this week's Changelog, where we go through the changes that happen week by week on Solana. My name is Jacob. Today I'm joined by Colin, and let's get started. So Grizzlython is still happening. That is a hackathon that you can enter your project on Solana and get it seen by a lot of people. It's the best way to get seen. Some other things that happened this past week is we had the third core community call. So what that is a bunch of core developers working on the protocol of Solana, coming together and discussing different changes upcoming on Solana. So it's a really cool call that's open to the public. If you ever want to join it, you can find the link in the core community call channel on the Solana Tech Discord. And finally, there was something that was really unique and hopefully will start happening more often in the future, is that there was a public debug session of a bug in 1.14, which is not hit mainnet beta at this time, but some people that were testing it ran into this bug. And so what you could see is that Steve and some other of the people that were debugging this and wrote the fix for it, you can watch through their steps of how did they debug it, how did they find the root cause, and what is the general steps of debugging a consensus. Really cool. Highly recommend it. It is on YouTube today. But yeah, so Colin, I believe there was a proposal this past week. What was it for this week?
Yep. So the one that caught my eye this week was around the Epoch reward proposal. And the problem statement was around the calculation and distribution of rewards currently happen at the first slot of the Epoch boundary. And the problem that it's not scalable, because as the amount of stake accounts increase, it could take quite a long time. Currently can last up to 20 seconds. So this proposal was to, instead of calculating it at the first slot, it's going to be the calculation is going to happen in a background service, and it's going to be split between the rewards calculation and the rewards distribution. So it's not all going to happen at the same time at the first slot. It's going to be done on a background service and split into two different processes.
Okay, so two different processes. So one for calculating and one for distributing, correct?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that would be really cool. If you're interested in more information on that proposal and how it works, how it distributes, how it calculates, feel free to read it. It is SIMD, I believe, 15, so it's up there ready to go. And then other than that, let's see. This past week, we had a few commits. There was a commit on cost tracking for each bank during replay. So previously, the leader is the one that would do all the cost tracker of checking if the block was exceeding or under the cost limits for any block. And so they would check that and be good to go. However, the cluster would not. So it's allowing people to check throughout the cluster. It was like, hey, was this block proposed? Does it match under the current cost limits? So that was a cool change that happened this past week. And then resource of the week. What have you seen, Colin?
I think it seems like last week was framework week. We kind of saw two introductions into the framework landscape. So the first one was called Oxylana, and that's kind of a full stack Rust-based framework where you can kind of build the smart contract, of course, in Anchor, but also the client is also in Rust. It's kind of think of it like a Rust scaffold if you want to build a full, complete end-to-end program with a client all in Rust.
Cool. And I think I saw another one that was just like that by Caveman Loverboy on Twitter. Another, I think it was so we have Kaizen and Oxylana both doing Rust scaffolds. That's pretty cool for people that really love Rust. Yeah. And then there was also, so this is not quite a resource of the week, but it was something that it was a big change that happened. So Ledger can now support V0 or version transactions with the latest update. So definitely update your ledgers to be able to do that. Really cool, and allows you to do some cool things on applications like Jupyter or anything that uses address lookup tables.
Sounds good. And that's the roundup for this week. Join us again same time next week. And make sure you also subscribe to the newsletter where you get this exact same thing in written format. So see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Ciao.